While looking into sort of recording mechanisms and cameras, I came across the world of CCTV cameras. So in this case, I decided to buy a Samsung CCTV camera. So this is an SDC-415. I don't think they produce them anymore, but it's a fairly bog standard CCTV camera. Obviously, this would normally be designed to fit in one of those white enclosures that you normally see CCTV cameras in. So it's got a 1/3 inch CMOS sensor, a bog standard CCTV lens that you can just twist off and remove. So you can see the information about it there. 1/3 inch sensor, 5 to 50 millimeters. But obviously with like the 10 times crop factor of the sensor, it starts at about 50 millimeters, which is quite tight. But it goes on long, especially when you consider just how small this lens actually is. And it's got a constant aperture of f1.3. Although what I end up finding is this suffers from really severe focus breathing and zoom breathing. So if you zoom in, the picture just shifts completely out of focus. But of course, normally these lenses are designed to be sort of focused and zoomed in and just kind of left, which is why they're these twisty things, so you can lock the focus and zoom on the lens. But just talking about that, you can just untwist the lens from the sensor just by spinning it around. In fact, I'll just disconnect the power to the lens because it's got an electronic aperture in here. If I just disconnect that, and then it's just a case of spinning the lens round and round and round, and then eventually it just comes off to reveal the tiny 1/3 of an inch sensor within. As you can see, there's quite a lot of twisting. But then if we just look in there, you can just see the sensor unit at the back of the camera. In terms of the back of the camera, it's very much standard affair. So you've got the live, neutral and ground inputs at the back, the BNC, which is the composite video output, and then just some menu buttons at the back. Now I've sort of bodge wired this as I never really intended, so I guess use it in this way. So I've got the 50 ohm, I've got a 50 ohm coax connected to the BNC connector. I'm just using some telephone cable to power the camera. I mean, this uses 2.5 watt, as you'll probably see on the top of the label there. So I mean, it doesn't need very thick cable at all. So I guess the next question is, how have I got this cabled? Well, you'll see the blue composite plug there, which is the video feed from the camera, and then that connects into a modulator, which basically spits out an analog TV signal, which then goes through a splitter, which you can just about see at the back there, which splits that analog feed to 2 outputs, one of which runs across the front here into the back of the VHS recorder. Yes, I do mean this is a video cassette recorder. And the other one comes out and connects to the screen, which you can see here. So this is the live video output from the camera. If I just spin the camera around a bit, you can see that is the live video feed. So here is a diagram more closely up. So you see you've got the composite video from the camera going into the modulator, and the 2 analog outputs, which are grey. One which goes to the VHS, one goes to TV, and then there's SCART for playback from the VCR, which is the green thing there. So the idea is the VCR is set to record on analog channel 21, and then when you play back on the VCR, it then goes straight to the television. And of course the television has the detect on the SCART, so it will detect when there's output through the SCART cable, and we'll just switch to that channel. So I can quite easily switch between the live and the recorded video. So we have that live feed there, and if I just press the play button on the VCR, you can just see it, and then provides just some test video I recorded yesterday. That was filmed in some quite low light, hence why there's not a great deal of detail, but the image quality is still pretty good. And once again, if I just stop it, it then switches straight over to the live video feed. Just one other thing I noticed, one other thing I had to work out how to do is actually how to set up a VCR. So first things first, I've had to find the flipping remote, which is quite a bit of a challenge. But with this, it is reasonably simple. So you've got to go into channel tuning, which is not letting me do at the moment. But and then get it to. So yeah, all I needed to do was take it out of VCR mode. So if I now just press enter there, you can see I can do a channel scan and get it to search for channels. But obviously there aren't any other analog channels broadcast anymore in this country, so the only one it will find is channel 21, which is the live feed from the camera we have. So I guess that's just a quick look at the setup I have here. Just really for, I don't really know why I've even set it up, to be honest, but I do plan on getting a capture card so I can, say, get the recorded video off and play it back on the computer and things like that. Because I do have some things that I do plan on sort of filming outside, just for the sake of adventure, really, more than anything. But I need to sort out the cabling a bit here, because this connector, as you can see, is a little bit rusty, so it doesn't really make the best connection, and this telephone wire is really cheap, so it tends to kind of break a little bit. But besides that, it has been working reliably so far. Actually, that reminds me, I haven't shown you the zoom yet. So the camera fully zoomed out looks like that. Actually no, fully zoomed out looks like this. So you can see I can quite sort of tightly adjust the focus. But if I fully zoom in, you'll see it just goes completely out of focus. But then if I get the focus just right there, you can see that it does zoom in an awfully long way. So if you see there, we can see maybe 5 of the ports, whereas now obviously we can see pretty much the whole, like a good level of the inside of the cupboard. That is quite good, and you can see it's getting brighter and darker in here quite a lot, but the camera does compensate quite well. I mean, the dynamic range isn't what you get with, like, say, what I'm filming this on, but the image quality is nonetheless pretty good.